It's time for business news with Richard Southern, and we begin with the price at the pumps, which is set to jump in a big way, Richard.
Set to jump, Erica, to the most expensive we've ever paid in Toronto. Yikes. We're going up 5 cents a liter at midnight tonight, and that'll bring the average to $1.49. And it's a little bit of a mystery in that I'm not exactly sure why the price is going up so much, in that the price of oil hasn't really spiked. The price of wholesale gas hasn't either. And we haven't seen any major moves for the loonie, which can also sort of influence the price. So it begs the question, are the gas companies trying to pull one over on us? I asked Roger McKnight, our gas price watcher.
5-cent increase is not justified, okay? I think it's mostly speculation and emotion that drove that price.
Roger, are the gas companies pulling one over on us here?
I don't think they're pulling one over. I think they're taking advantage of a situation where they see demand increasing rather rapidly if everything goes okay.
Yeah, he says the price being speculated higher. The thinking is as vaccines continue to take hold, that will be driving more down the road. And it's kind of the price rising in anticipation of that, even though we hate to see that happen. The small silver lining, Erica, is that Roger thinks the price will drop 1 cent on Saturday. Bottom line is, if you need to fill up, tonight's a good night for it before midnight.
All right, one of the busiest shopping seasons is upon us as kids get ready to go back to school, but this year looks a little different.
Didn't you hate when you were in school to see those back-to-school commercials,
I did,
Erica?
certainly did. Yes, I was not happy, but my mom was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it happened earlier and earlier every year. Mm-hmm. This year, though, is expected to be really, really big for the back-to-school shopping, for the retailers, that is, right? In fact, NPD, the big market research group, it thinks back-to-school sales will be double what they were last year in Canada as far as the money spent. And it's just the case that, most kids haven't consistently been in school for the past 2 years, and therefore, experts say there's a real need for their gear to be replaced, either because it's outdated or because they've outgrown it. We've already seen this play out in the United States, where a lot of kids are already back in school. Down there, they did a record amount of back-to-school sales, with the average family with an elementary school student spending on average $849, and the family with a high school student shelling out $1,200 per student on average. By the way, Erica, they say one of the biggest hot sellers this year is a fidget pencil and old school journals, also very hard to find here in Canada as the kids gear up. They're going back in just 12 days, believe it or not. Erica.
Yeah, clock is ticking. Okay, finally, the big Canadian banks have been reporting earnings this week, but the federal Liberals are eyeing a slice of those big profits.
Yes, indeed, was one of the big stories on the campaign trail today, and it came as TD Bank became the latest bank to report huge earnings. TD delivering a profit of $3.5 billion just for the last 3 months. CIBC came in today with earnings of $1.73 billion for its third quarter. But yes, a new proposed tax by Trudeau would tax the big banks and give the government a bigger cut. The Liberal Party leader says if reelected, he'll levy a 3% surcharge on bank and life insurance profits over $1 billion. What that would mean, for instance, RBC, which so far this year has pulled in a profit of $12.2 billion. For them, it would probably mean an additional $334 million or so going back to the government. For TD, it could mean about $285 million. The Canadian Bankers Association, not surprisingly, speaking out against this. They say the tax would hurt Canadians who are bank shareholders. As for Trudeau, though, he says, hey, the banks got a windfall, in his words, because of the generous government relief programs during the pandemic. And he says this will return about $2.5 billion to Canadian taxpayers. So a big debate on that front, Erica.
All right, 680's Richard Southern. Thanks, Richard.
Thanks.